Hi, this is TradingBTC.com. Today's December 4th, 2018. And today we wanted to highlight an article that was written in regards to an Amazon and the crypto space. And we think there's a lot of value in the article, and hopefully the video we can add even more value as well. The article was written by Chris Gorman. And for those of you that do not know who Chris Gorman is, he is on the management team for a project called Electroneum.com. And in the article, there is information about Electroneum. And I'm going to link the article so you can read it. I think there's a lot of valuable information there. There's information on Electroneum as well. But most of the time that I want to spend is on the article itself in regards to Amazon. So let's get right into it, and hopefully you'll agree that this is an extremely important article, that you can use moving forward in the crypto space. The first thing he does is he talks about his first business in the .com era was a company called Reality, and he built it from scratch, and he ended up selling it for $50 million a week or so before the .com crash in March of 2000. So the first thing he does is he establishes credibility for what he's about to write. So he was there, and yes, you could say that businesses got high valuations back then, but that's not the point. The point is that there was a mentality back then. There was a mindset, and I think that's what Chris does in this article, is he goes through the mindset, and that's extremely important to be able to use in today's environment as well. So let's go right into the article. He talks about an environment where there was a lot of negativity and a lot of attacking of successes. And he also mentions here that 99% of the focus back then was on 1% of the customers. And only 1% of the businesses were focused on 99% of the marketplace, which is the customer. And so if you look at today's environment, you can ask yourself, what projects are focused on the 99%? And what projects are focused on the 1%? That would be the starting point. The next thing Chris mentions is he talks about how, he specifically says, I recall being at a key networking event with senior people in early 2000, where incredibly the evening was spent attacking the fonts used by Amazon and eBay, with the buzz being that they wouldn't even last a year, as they didn't even know how to use tech. How wrong they were. Next, he says, in fact, the main survivors, including Amazon and eBay, plus Priceline, Shutterstock, and Coupon.com, were all companies that were deemed as totally inept, technically inept. And so, apply it to today's environment. We have a lot of programmers hammering other programmers because they don't know what they're doing, or they're an idiot. There's bugs in their code, all kinds of issues. And it's very similar to looking at Amazon back in the day and saying, look at the fonts they're using. Those idiots, they don't know what they're doing. It's very similar. And in the end, it's not always the best technology that wins. And Chris mentions that in the article, the paragraph right above. It says, the facts of the .com bubble speak for themselves. The obsession over what new technology could bring and the energy spent on having the best technology, regardless of customer needs, created a very negative environment. Sadly, many great technology advancements became biggest victims of the crash. So again, you have an environment where everybody was hammering Amazon and eBay because of their lack of technical savvy. But yet, the best technology were the biggest victims of the crash. And Chris goes on to say, he goes on to talk and quote Jeff Bezos. And I think it's a perfect scenario for today's environment. So this is Jeff Bezos. He says, I very frequently get the question, what's going to change in the next 10 years? And that is a very interesting question. It's a very common one. I almost never get the question, what's not going to change in the next 10 years? And I submit to you that that second question is actually the more important of the two, because you can build a business strategy around the things that are stable in time. In our retail business, we know that customers want low prices, and I know that's going to be true 10 years from now. They want fast delivery. They want vast selection. In today's crypto space, do customers want low prices for transferring money? Do they want fast delivery? Do they want a selection of what currencies they can use? Absolutely. Same is true today. He goes on to say, it's impossible to imagine a future 10 years from now where a customer comes up and says, Jeff, I love Amazon. I just wish the prices were a little higher. I love Amazon. I just wish you'd deliver a little more slowly. Impossible. And so the effort we put into those things, spinning those things up, we know the energy we put into it today will still be paying off dividends for our customers 10 years from now. When you have something that you know is true, even over the long term, you can afford to put a lot of energy into it. And so, in today's environment, how many projects actually are working to solve these three known truths? How many projects are working to give customers low prices for transferring? How many projects are working on fast delivery? How many projects are working on giving a vast selection to their customer? I think that's where you're going to have to start at this point, because moving out of this bear market, we're already starting to see projects laying off people, and they're not going to make it. So the projects that are going to make it out of this bear market into this next phase, in our opinion, are going to be the ones that are trying to solve these issues: low prices for customers, fast delivery time, and a vast selection. So we've heard a lot of comparisons in the news, social media about Amazon, how it lost 95% of its value and it's worth $1 trillion. And they're making that comparison to Bitcoin. Bitcoin went down 85%. So therefore, in the future, it's going to be worth a tremendous amount of money. Well, we're seeing why Amazon came out through the ashes. They weren't concerned about having the best technology. They were concerned about doing what the customer needed and wanted from a business. So in today's environment, if the comparison is to Bitcoin, is Bitcoin doing what it needs to do in order to give the customer low prices? Is it doing what it needs to do to give them fast delivery? Is it doing what it needs to do in order to give them a vast selection? Those are the questions that need to be asked. And those are the questions you should ask from all the projects, so that you can get to a point where you start weeding out these projects that they may survive, but you need to stack the deck on your side. Try to put yourself in the most favorable position. Those are the ones that have the best chance of succeeding. Those are the ones that are giving the customers what they want, what they need. And so that's why I think this article is so important, is because it's not always the best tech that wins, but it is the project or the company that is the best at giving the customer what they want. And that's the takeaway from this article that I'm hoping you'll be able to at least start gathering some questions so that you can go through a weeding out process to put yourself in the best possible position to benefit from this next phase that we're moving into. And so I encourage you to read the article. There's a lot of great information in here. The one last part that I want to go over real quick is where Chris gives some information about Electro Neum specifically. And we're not trying to shill the coin whatsoever, but it's an important part of where you need to start putting your focus. And what I mean by that is, Chris goes on to say here that under success factors, they have 2.6 million accounts opened, they have 300,000 social media followers, and they've got 1 million Android app downloads. There's more information here. But my point is that you now need to go through these projects that you're either invested in or considering and find out how are they doing with gaining and retaining customers. And then you'll start down a process of finding out the projects that are actually doing what their customers, their future customers, want. Because we know that so far, this adoption phase has only been for those early movers. But these projects have to be doing what the future customers want, not what everybody else wants today. Whoever's in today is already in. In order for those projects to grow and flourish, they have to do what the future customers want and need. So I'm going to leave it here. And if you like the video, please hit the like button. If you'd like to subscribe, hit the bell button to be notified whenever we put up a video. And if you did get some value from the video, we just ask that you share it. And if you have any questions or comments, just place them down below the video, and we will respond. You can also hit us up on Twitter, and you can also contact us through the website TradingBTC.com. And hope you have enjoy the rest of the day, and hopefully you got some value from this video. Thanks very much. Have a great day.